9 protesters that were arrested on April the 4th, 2018, and charged with trespassing while trying to deliver a petition to the management at the Cargill poultry plant in Dayton, Virginia, had their day in court. The protesters have given themselves a title. They refer to themselves as the Cargill Nine, and the de facto leader of the group, Michael Snell Fikema, has compared himself to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and has compared the Cargill workers he is standing up for and their plight and struggles to African Americans during slavery and Jim Crow. Let's look at the facts. Cargill poultry workers are paid $13+ an hour for their work, and they are not forced into working for free under the threat of being whipped, raped, beaten, or tortured like slaves were. Cargill is an equal opportunity employer and hires people of all races, religions, genders, and nationalities. Cargill employees are not sold off, nor do they have their wives and kids sold off by a master like slaves did. Snell Fikema should apologize to the black community and the descendants of slaves for such a blatant spit in the face of black Americans. Now we have compared the facts about slavery and proven 100% beyond a reasonable doubt that these workers are not being treated like slaves. Let's look at the Jim Crow comparison. Do Cargill workers have to ride in the back of the bus? No, they do not. Do they have to drink from a separate water fountain or use a separate bathroom than non-Cargill employees in public? No, they do not. Do Cargill workers have to live under the threat of being lynched by mobs for trying to register to vote? No, they do not. Do the children of Cargill employees have to worry about being lynched at age 14 because a woman in a grocery store said they whistled at her? No, they do not. So, in conclusion, the Jim Crow comparison is also invalid, insensitive, and disgusting, and Snell Fikema should be ashamed of making that comparison. Before court, the Cargill Nine and their supporters held a gathering on Court Square to celebrate their arrest and the so-called sacrifices that they have given to stand up for the poultry workers. Fikema and his protesters were trying to deliver a petition to Cargill when they were arrested. In the petition, supposedly signed by hundreds of locals, they asked Cargill to reinstate 3 workers that were fired from the plant, and they asked Cargill to allow their Dayton plant workers to form a union.
So Cargill has this beautiful code of conduct that says, of course, all workers have the right to freely associate and to organize to better their working conditions. And it also says that they aspire to having the highest ethical standards of anybody in the industry. So that's the important part, is that we were trying to say, look, we've heard that you hired a union buster named Peter Litzt, and Wilfredo Flores, for instance, was fired after he spoke out in public on the evening news. He worked at Cargill for 13 years. He was one of their top workers over there. And he was fired after speaking on the evening news. A couple other workers have been given lots and lots of harassment lately, and they've fired other people that were involved in the union effort. And so this union buster, his name is Peter Litzt, he apparently is notorious in the entire country.
There was a line to the street to get inside of the courtroom to witness General District Court Judge William Eldridge bring down the weight of the American justice system on the Cargill Nine for trespassing. All 9 of the defendants were represented by high-powered Harrisonburg attorney Aaron Cook. Snell Fikema and Bruce Lundeen arranged a plea agreement with the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. Both defendants pled no contest to the charges and were fined $50 and are now convicted trespassers. The other 7 defendants did not want convictions on their record, so they agreed to 1 year of unsupervised probation and promised not to trespass on Cargill property again for at least 1 year. They had to pay court costs. However, in 1 year, if they are on good behavior and have not trespassed on Cargill property, the judge will review their case and the charges will be dismissed. One of those defendants, Nevin Zier, made this his profile picture on Facebook. The photo has been altered from when it originally appeared in Crime Times. Crime Times is a print newspaper that publishes the photos and charges of those arrested at over a dozen localities in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Zier added the glasses, the joint, and the words, Thug Life. So while Snell Fikema looks at himself as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Mr. Zier looks at himself as a gangster for being arrested for the petty charge of trespassing. On March 10th, almost a month before he was charged with trespassing, Zier also made this disturbing Facebook post. In the post, Zier posts a picture of a dog. The post reads, "I found a dog. He's my dog now. If you're the owner of this dog, F you for letting your dog out in the cold with no identification on his tags." If any of our viewers know whose dog this is, please let us know. Cargill has not responded to our request for a statement, but as far as we know, they have not reinstated any of the fired workers and have no plans to change any of their policies or guidelines due to the Cargill Nine in their actions. When Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was marching and holding peaceful protests during the civil rights movement, he did it knowing that he could die for his actions, and ultimately, he did. When Snell Fikema and the Cargill 9 protest, they have nothing to fear. They don't have to worry about being physically attacked by mobs of racists and bigots. In conclusion, Snell Fikema is no Dr. King. In downtown Harrisonburg, Theodore Whitelow for Breaking Through.